Hi, I'm Astrid, Rosemary, and Ndagano Haas, and I'm Ugandan. And for those of you sitting around me yesterday in the jazz club, you would have noticed that I got very, very tearful during the Grassy Park Requiem. And it's partly because the music moved me, but partly also because the music just felt like a culmination of three very unexpected journeys that I've come from in these past 2 weeks, things that I didn't expect when I started. And the first one is I came into this very apathetic, frustrated, cynic about both my own country, but about Africa and the state of Africa. It's something that I'm very passionate about. I've been working for a long time, but I don't see change. And I realize that's because the narrative we all live in. It's very easy for us to be like, the problems, and it's all them. And then I realized it's not them, it's we. And then I realized through that exercise that we did when we put up our leaders today, that we have so many people to look up to, that we should be looking up to those people and not looking up to the people we always want to criticize. And then aside from the board, I just looked around the room and I realized I have 24 people here who I look up to. So it's not about always just finding the positive. There is hope and there's optimism in Africa, and it's represented here. I think the second journey I realized, these next two I think are even more personal, is that as a leader, you have to be pushed out of your comfort zone. The reason I got very emotional when Emmanuel was speaking and I jumped up and I gave him a hug is because that process of making that LGBTI video, I went through a similar journey, but I started at a different point. I started at a point where I'm very passionate about LGBTI rights. I have some of my best friends who are gay, who are lesbian, and who won't come and visit me in Uganda because of the heinous things that are said. And I could never find a constructive way to do that. And so instead I just became passionate, right? And I just couldn't understand why people don't understand it's a human right. But this week, I was pushed out of that zone because I had to work with a very diverse group of people, and I had to listen. And based on that understanding, many of you have heard me say this ad nauseum yesterday, what we showed there, I don't care what any of you think of it, but the journey that we went to show that for all of us was such an incredible learning process. Trevor Manuel said that we have to read more. I love to read, I read a lot, but I also realized through that I read everything that affirms my own view. So to be able to understand and to be able to become a better leader, I need to read the rest. And the third is a very personal thing, and I'm sharing this with you today because you have become my friends and you trust in friends. You all pushed me very quickly to the voice group there, and I know, and I thank you for indulging in all my comments this week. But actually, I'm not very confident. And I used to go to my room in the evening and go like, oh God, were my contributions useful? What do people think of me? And through this week, I've been pushed out of a comfort zone where my coaches made me ask people. So that's the random questions I've been asking. And I've just received so much great feedback, both on my style, positive, negative, but it's been helpful. And I think I'm going to move forward with that. So finally, I couldn't be in South Africa and not quote my all-time favorite leader, Madiba. And he said, "Your playing small does not change the world." And what you've given us is that tool for those of us, on the hero's journey who've not made it into the special world. You've given us the tools to jump into the special world. And I stand here today and I say, I'm proud to be African and I'm proud to be a young African leader.